Hello guys, Jay here, and we are back with our 5-step bookkeeping series. In our previous video, we have discussed all about bank reconciliation in QuickBooks Online. After all banking transactions are done and reconciled, it's time to address other information you need to bring into your QuickBooks Online setup. One of the most important data are about your customers, invoices you sent them, and recording their payments and depositing those payments to your bank account. This area is quite more advanced than the first two we discussed. If you encounter something hard to solve down the road, contact a qualified bookkeeper to give you advice. Invoices and payments received are one of the areas most business owners don't have a solid record keeping. Most of the time, not all invoice payments are recorded, not all deposits are matched to payments. It's easy to trace them if it's just a few invoices a month, but if you are sending a lot of them on a monthly basis and you have payment terms that are more complex, for example, you have installment payments, down payments, etc., it's very easy to mess up with your records. Alright, so now we will be having a quick tour of how to create an invoice, how to receive a payment to an invoice, and how to record a bank deposit in QuickBooks Online. So the first one will be how to record an invoice. We have multiple ways here. You can record the invoice from this button, click invoice. The plus button means add a new entry in QuickBooks Online. So we need to put all the details here. First, the customer information, the terms of payment, the invoice date, what product or service is sold, for example, this one, and how much is the sale. If your sales is taxable, you need to click this. Often for services, it's not taxable. Okay, so once we have supplied all the details that are needed, we can save and close. If you are sending your invoices right from QuickBooks Online, then you click Save and Send, and the invoice will be sent to the customer email. But if you are just recording the invoice, then click Save and Close. And that's it. How to record an invoice in QuickBooks Online. Now we are going to record receiving payments. So the invoice that we have created is for Cool Cars. Let's open Cool Cars customer section. And here is the open invoice that we have created. Say for example, this invoice was paid and we need to record the payment. Just click receive payment here. If the invoice has been paid in full, then you don't have to edit amount. If it's partially paid, then we can replace the amount here, the partial payment. Let's put it back. You can choose here what is the payment method that has been used, for example, MasterCard or check payment or other payment like wire. So if it's a check payment, then we need to record the check number. Example, that's the check number. And after recording the payment, just click Save and Close. And that's it. That's how you record received payment on QuickBooks Online. After recording the received payment, we need to deposit it to your bank account. Now we click New and select Bank Deposit. So here on the Bank Deposit screen, we will find the received payment that we have created. If the bank deposit includes other payments, then you can select that as well. But if not, then just select the received payment we have created. So you choose here which bank account received the money or to which bank account you have deposited the payment. And just click Save and Close. Now the payment has been deposited. You can see your unreceived payment has been deposited. And we are done with creating invoices, receiving payment, and recording bank deposit. Now we have seen that recording invoices, receive payment, and bank deposits in QuickBooks Online are really easy. Now we are going to discuss some things related to this area that makes it more complicated. Number one, common problems. Number two, what you should do. Number three, two major approaches. Number four, three major situations where you can decide what to apply. And last, what you should not do. So, based on our experience, many business owners have problems or some kind of issues in this area. So now, let's discuss about common problems. First, we have missing invoices, incomplete invoices records, incomplete customer records or customer details, missing payments, lump sum payments combined with no invoice breakdown, lump sum payments combined with no invoice breakdown. Payments received do not have invoice number or customer name, so we are having trouble to detect which invoice has been paid. Unpaid invoices or uncollected invoices. Cancelled invoices or invoices that did not pursue, or the services or product was not provided. Bad debts unrecorded. Bad debts are invoices where services or products has been provided or rendered, but the customer did not pay, or the customer is not willing to pay anymore. That's a kind of loss to be recorded as bad debts. So when the client doesn't have a good record keeping of invoices, payments, and deposits, then we will have these common problems. So most of these problems are related to good record keeping. Other problems or issues are related to unpaid invoices, cancelled invoices, and bad debts. Now let's talk about what you should do. To avoid problems related to the ones we listed above, it's always recommended to maintain a good records. It includes customer details, name, address, contact info, and other information related to your customer. While for invoices sent, a PDF copy or printed copy, or an invoicing app that has all the details of invoices sent, that should be okay. For payments received, you should have details about the payment method, the payment amount, the date, the invoices paid, etc. Deposits to the bank. You should have records of the invoice payments included to the deposit, the date of the deposit, the fees deducted by the bank, or processing company, or merchant company, or processing financial institution, the receiving bank account, etc. So all other information and details related to this four, you should have a good record keeping of them to avoid problems related to invoices, payments, and deposits in QuickBooks Online. Now let's talk about the two major approaches related to setting up your invoices, payments, and deposits in QuickBooks Online. So we have full accrual accounting. This means all information about your customers, invoices, services or products sold, payments, and deposits should be set up in QuickBooks Online. This is a great thing to do. If you have a good records, then go with it. The second one is cash accounting. This means we only record the customer details and the deposits we receive from them, we record them as income. So, second method, we don't have to create invoices, receive payments. It's already bank deposits. A major difference between the two is that accrual accounting is more accurate and complete, while cash accounting is minimal and require lesser amount of time to do. So we have here three situations. What are the situations these two methods can be used, the full accrual and cash methods? Number one, if you have good record keeping or when it is required, then you will use full accrual accounting. Second, if you do not have accurate tracking of invoice and payments and deposits, then you should use cash accounting. And provided you are not required to do accrual accounting. For small businesses, oftentimes, cash accounting is enough. But for bigger businesses that has lots of AR or receivables and payments going on, then accrual accounting should be required. The third situation is a mixed type. So when your business is required to do accrual accounting but you have incomplete records, then we can use accrual method and cash method combined. So for those you have good records of invoices and payments and deposits, you will use accrual method. For those customer payments which you do not have good tracking or good records, then we can use the cash method. So meaning you will have invoices, payments, and deposits for good records, And then for those really that are you're not able to identify, then we will just record the deposits as income. So we have already discussed the common problems, what you should do, the major approaches that you can use to resolve different situations. Now we will discuss about what you should not do. So in order to have a better setup in QuickBooks Online, you need to avoid doing these things. First, do not record invoices without payment records. This will make accounts receivable balance bloated, and there is a good chance to duplicate income. What do I mean by that? If you record invoices without payment, then you also record the deposits as income, then you will have double booking of income, one for the invoice and one for the deposit. But if the invoice without payment is a bad debt, then you need to record it in QuickBooks Online and recognize it as a bad debt. Second, do not leave undeposited funds unchecked. Monitor undeposited balances and make sure it's getting reconciled. So one of the things that often get messed up is undeposited funds. So when undeposited funds is not getting reconciled, the payments are not getting deposited, then the balance of undeposited funds can get bloated, it's not getting settled. Make sure to record the deposits related to the payments and make sure to check undeposited funds from time to time. Third, do not leave payments floating and not being deposited. It makes it confusing to reconcile later. Oftentimes, there are a lot of payments pending for deposit and they are floating on the deposit screen. And that's not a good thing to do. So make sure to double check floating payments and create deposits to clear them. And that's it. If you have more questions, just comment down below and I will answer them. So stay tuned to our next video and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.